All right, guys, welcome to the second episode of On the King's Dime. This is just a pre-season wrap-up of a couple of games that happened over the last week. So the first game, they played St. Mary's, which has kind of been the home of Australian college basketball in the States, obviously with Delhi being there, Jock last season finishing up there.
Paddy Mills, I believe he was there also. And yeah.
So it's kind of been little Australia in the way to the NBA and in the college system over there. But they came out and they played our guys in Terrigal, which is on the central coast of New South Wales.
Bit too far for us to go out to.
Yeah, on a weeknight.
I'm not that keen on a school night.
Not on a school night. We've got to go to bed early. But they had a really good showing, really strong showing. Bogut again, absolutely showing the class, his class. Showing that the team's starting to gel. I think they've brought in the right mix of young players with Adnam and Deng Deng.
Wilson as well.
Wilson is playing very well too. But Deng Deng is...
And Deng Akuth,
Deng Akuth. But for my mind, Deng Deng is fucking athletic and pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing him on some big showdowns this year. But again, Bogut really the instigator. I think he was 6 from 6 from the field.
Yeah.
Played extremely well, just dishes the ball.
His passing is just fantastic.
He's 7 foot. Like he can have his way with a lot of these guys in the NBL. He's by far the biggest presence we have here, both namesake and physically. But just his offloading and his ability to screen, on-ball screen and get guys into positions where he can dish to them and they can either lay it up or dunk. So really, really good. Ben watched the game. I don't have internet yet at my new house, but Ben watched it.
Yeah, it was good.
And
good showing. I think there's a lot you sort of see in the highlights. There were still a lot of issues defensively, breakdowns. Obviously watching highlights all the time, you don't see the bad parts. Like you got to watch an entire game just to see the bad parts. And there's still some teething problems. A couple of the guys defensively, not terrible, but just those things that you need to tighten these things up. It's pre-season.
Pre-season, brand new team pretty much.
Yeah, they're working really hard. Yeah. So, and I think St. Mary's had played the night before against Illawarra, and they beat Illawarra. So obviously they were a little bit drained. It was a bit of a slow start, and I think the way the Kings play, it's going to be interesting to see how the NBL reacts to that style, because I don't know if the NBL has seen the kind of NBA schemes that Bogut's able to rattle off, that Golden State style scheme where he comes out to the elbow and he comes out to the three-point line. He's going to throw a lot of defenses off because you don't expect a guy to be able to do that and to screen effectively and pass effectively. That dunk he had where he, I think he gave the ball to, it might have been Randall, and Randall set him up for the lob. He made a pretty average sort of screen and roll dunk look spectacular, but because of that, he stuck his butt out and he screened the guy to get Randall free, which is things you don't really see at a lower level of basketball.
And you don't see on stats as well. That's the other thing as well. It's the off-ball plays. A lot of these guys in the NBA really shine from. It's the ability to screen when you have the ball in your hands as well as when you don't have the ball in your hands, and getting your guys free and getting the ability to cut. And I think you're going to see so much cutting from the Kings this year with Bogut at the elbow coming out to the 3-point line. It's going to be a lot of movement, and they've got young guys in who can
fast guys too.
Fast guys like Deng Deng is fucking athletic. That dude is really, really good. Adnam is quick, nippy.
Newly even solid. Like he's not laser like with his pace, but solid enough to catch the ball. 3 or 4 steps out and put it on the floor and put up a solid layup. Put the ball up there. In a solid way, because it's not all about creating wide open shots. Like with Bogut, you're going to get a lot of wide open looks at the rim especially, and running sort of pick and roll, you're going to get a lot of wide open looks as the passer, as well as Bogut himself is going to get a lot of lobs off Jerome Randall, because Jerome Randall played pretty well as well.
He's a good ball handler.
Looked a little bit short of fitness. I think he was 5 from 6 as well, and he shot a nice 3 in the second quarter, like over the top of a defender. Little bit sort of ball hoggy,
Is that typical American flashy style of kind of street ball. That's what I see from him. Very flashy. When you look at a setup like the Boomers, there's no ball hogging, there's no flashiness, there's no ISO one-on-one, let's try and dribble past. It's a team, it's a system.
Yeah.
That's the difference. He kind of brings that flary street ball to it.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. It's always nice to see.
Definitely. And you don't want to take that out of him
adds
because
depth to the game.
The ability to score is important because I think a lot of the other guys don't have that ability. I don't think Deng Deng can really score off an isolation, and Leash is that's not really his game. He likes to run a pick and roll.
Pick and roll coming off the screen.
Yeah, and shoot off that.
Yeah.
But it, as well, it stood out too, is sort of important. Like it stood out and went, he did just kind of hog the ball a bit there and put up a shot just because of the way the Kings have started this season, the way they've been playing. It kind of stood out to me. But hopefully he loves to run pick and roll though, Randall, and he ran a couple of good ones for Deng Deng and that massive dunk for Bogut, which was on the highlights. Got everyone excited. So
yeah, that was good to watch.
Very solid outing. I think it's going to take time for that style to really sort of take root. It's a high risk, high reward type of style. So I hope it beds in. It's good to watch as well. So,
but one thing you did see from the Kings though is high assist percentage.
Yeah. There was 20 assists against Japan and then 24 against.
That's good ball movement.
Yeah, definitely, and it's important too. I mean, you look at the Warriors; they are a high assist team. And that's essentially the style that I think Gaze is trying to emulate.
Well, the only team that didn't make the kind of top end of the town that isn't a high assist team was LeBron's. Philly, Boston, even Houston to some respect. High assist franchises, whereas Cleveland was just chuck it to LeBron. So it shows that they're getting up there with the ability and the same style of play as the NBA. Which hopefully will translate into the start of the Kings' evolution into being the premier team in Australia, which is what they should be.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Andrew Gaze is actually trying to do that. I'm only speaking from a fan's perspective
I think
as what he's trying to do. Like, it looks like that's what he's trying to do.
I don't think that's what he's trying to do. I think that's what Bogut's coming and trying to do. I think
that's just the way he plays.
It's the way he plays and the way he's been set up in the American system. But I think that's something that he'll bring over the next couple of years is that player-coach style. Ability to coach guys into doing exactly what he needs or thinks to do to win. I think Gaze will sit back and let a lot of it happen. I actually think Andrew Bogut will take over as coach post career
down the track. Andrew Gaze is he's well renowned,
but he's not NBA. He's not number one pick NBA,
true.
And I think that's where the difference is. I think Andrew Gaze did have a small stint in the NBA.
I think he won a ring with the Spurs.
Yeah, but it was like he only played like 8 games.
Yeah, but that's all you need. Ring's a ring, mate.
I suppose so.
Yeah. But I don't even know what Andrew Gaze's style is. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
there was no style last year. It was ISO basketball, and they lost.
Randall and Perry Ellis. So who knows? Like, he might just naturally be gravitating towards that because of the way Bogut plays and the way the roster's structured. If he is, that's great. He'll stumble onto something pretty good. But at the same time, if I was the coach, like putting my head in Andrew Gaze's head, I'd be looking at this going, right, I want to see how the NBL reacts to this style of basketball. I keep saying it. Bogut handling at the elbow is very dangerous and one of the main things that sort of transforms the Warriors. It's going to happen here if you put really fast guys who are smart cutters, who trust their big man to find him in space, and guys who can converge on the rim, like Deng Deng converged on the rim a few times against Japan, suddenly found himself wide open at the rim, and you got a guy finding him. And a couple of times it happened in Terrigal as well. So that's going to be important. Like, it takes 2 guys.
It's easy. It's easy baskets. It's easy, low risk shots, and you're not seeing Sydney putting up 60 points. You're seeing them putting up 80 odd points for a game. So very, very good. Very, 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 very good. And I'm really excited to actually get out there and get the season started. We're still a few months away from that.
Yeah. There's a lot of games to come to, and a lot of teething problems. Like I said, there was a few defensive lapses in that game against St Mary's. The other game was a closed door, so there's
we didn't see, but we can throw out some stats for you. I don't think Bogut actually played this game. I think he had a rest or he played a few minutes. But Adnam and Bowen with 19 and 18, and Deng with a double-double, 11 points, 13 rebounds. So aggressive around the rim, very, very athletic. I think he's one to watch really this year with Bogut and also Randall being very, very skilled.
Gives versatility to the lineups too, because Newley, I think, can only play power forward really, and
he can play power forward, but he's the kind of guy you bring on. It's just like, all right, drive to the rim.
Well, that's what you want. You want a nice big guy who will drive through the lane and get bodies moving, as opposed to someone like Randall always having to attack the rim no matter what. A small guy trying to finish through traffic is obviously a lower percentage player than someone like Newley, who has the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim.
Muscle his way through. And obviously you've got Kickett, who can kick it from anywhere.
He can shoot from anywhere. I don't think he would have played then if he wasn't on the top scorers.
I think he did play, just didn't score quite well. But again, that's just an off night for a guy who's pretty accurate from the rim. But what have we got coming up on our little board there? So next Sunday is the next game they're playing. They're playing Drexel Alexandria. That should be live streamed, which is pretty cool. And we'll be able to see that. Then they play home and away series, I think, against
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Obviously last year's winners. A couple of great players in their team. And then they head off to Clippertown in Hawaii. So we've got a bit of a break between the Melbourne games and the Clippers. I think we've got about 4 weeks off.
I don't know if they're going to play any more games or not.
They might schedule a couple here and there, but I don't think so. So you've got the Clippers, and then they play their first game against the 36ers on the 13th of October.
Yep. That's still a fair way away, so
still
plenty of preseason stuff to go.
Still plenty of preseason. We'll eventually do some player profiles once they got their roster kind of cemented. I think they're still in contractual negotiations and cementing their roster. We'll go through some preseason stuff, do some previews of the plays, which we also do for our Aussies Taking Over the NBA podcast. And we'll bring you updates, I think, after probably the first game against Melbourne, after they play Drexel Alexandria and Melbourne.
Those two Melbourne games will be interesting because I think they're back-to-back. I think they're Friday and Sunday. I think. I can't remember. We'll have to check that out. It'd be a good hit out for them because a proper NBL level sort of team, they don't, like, the NBL franchises don't have the big deep rosters to throw out their trash players into the mix. So that's going to be a proper scrimmage between two of their actual full strength rosters. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. So that'd be great.
Sounds good. All right, guys. So we'll leave it at that. That was just a bit of a quick update. Episode 2, what's been happening. Very, very excited for the season to start. NBA starts a day after the NBL, so we're going to have podcast heaven come the 13th and 14th of October, and we are going to be very, very busy. So look forward for you to staying with us. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, on the King's Dime. YouTube, on the King's Dime. And if you like us and want to hear about the NBA, Aussies Taking Over the NBA is our podcast that we've got a few episodes up now that have been running since last playoffs, but we're going to run it all through next year and into the future. So keep up to date. All right. Peace.
All right, peace out, peeps.